Alrighty, well, we're in the marina. We're 2 days away from checking out from French Polynesia. Been here a full year, loved it, but gotta get some last minute work done on the boat, and it's just easier to get it done at the marina. I mean, nothing big. We're having a 300-hour service done on the outboard on our tender, and we're getting 200-hour service on our generator done, and that should be it. But right now we're provisioning. See right here is, these 2 bags here are filled with food. It's not just the soda and tonic water for my gin and tonics, but we got some food, plus Cindy's already taken 1 full cart to the boat. I had to go and talk to the service guy to make sure I knew what time he was coming. So doing that, so 2 cartloads was another $1,000, and then we filled up with fuel today, and that was another $1,000. But we're getting close. Gonna be sorry to leave French Polynesia, but excited for new adventures. First stop should be the Cook Islands, but in a minute I'm gonna look at the weather and see where we're at. I'll let you know what kind of our routing we're gonna have. It'd be a lot easier if I do this two-handed. So there's Remission at the end of the dock. So I gotta get this loaded. Cindy's probably wondering what happened.
Well, good morning. Today is Thursday, the 17th of April, and our visa runs out Friday, the 18th of April. Been here for a full year. So it's kind of a big day today. I'm gonna head into town, go to the Port Authority, get customs, immigration, the port captain, and get all of our paperwork finalized, our fees paid, and to get ready to get out of here before we're illegal. And as you probably know from back home, being a legal alien is not a good idea. Tomorrow we're supposed to leave. Well, that may not happen. Look at what happens. Our next destination is Apataki in the Cook Islands. It's supposed to be about a 4-day trip or so, and going west with the trade winds, but something's going on. Take a look at this. So here's Predict Wind. This is our software that we use for sail routing. As you can see there's like 6 different, each one of those lines is a different route to get from where we are here in Tahiti to Apataki in the Cook Islands. So it shows us different possible routes. Now we have found that we like to cruise between 15 and 18 knots. It's the most comfortable in Cindy and I, and it's the most comfortable on the boat. I'm going to start this, and as you can see here, blue is light wind, and the color goes to green, yellow, orange, and red. Red not being fun. And if we look, if you can read on that, less than a day out, we're in 21 knots, and it's getting worse. Look at down here, if we took that route, it's 26 knots, 27 knots. So each one of those little dots represents where we'll be in a time, and then that one there is the recommended route. But you can see, even on the recommended route, we're looking at 26 to 24 knots. That's just not good. And even this guy here is a warning for high seas. So I think we're going to bypass leaving today. And we're just going to start looking at different routes or different days to go to make it a little bit easier on us. Because I am not looking forward to going through that.
I have to go to the Port Authority. Now the only really way to get there is by tender. I mean, I could, if I had a car, it'd be okay, but to get a cab or something out there, it'd be pretty expensive and difficult, to say the least. Probably about 40 bucks each way. So if I take the tender, it's about 6 miles from where we're at. And look what I have to contend with. in an open tender, that is not going to be fun. And Cindy just checked the forecast and she says, maybe between 12 and 1 it's going to stop. Problem is, that's when they're closed. So I guess I'm going to have to bite the bullet and hit the weather. You just gotta love sailing. I'm on my way to the port. I got pretty lucky on a break in the weather, so it wasn't too bad getting over here for that 6 miles. Part of the port I've never been in before. In fact, I got the Navy over there. I got some big ships in front of me. And I think I found where I need to go. Let me show you. I believe that's the building I need to go to. I gotta find some sort of a dock here. I don't know if I want to go to this one. Look at this guy. Not doing too good. Yeah, that guy doesn't look like he's in too good a shape here. But I think I'm gonna end up having to park right there. Well, that could not have gone any easier. Just went in there, they had my information in the computer. I had to fill out one form, and she stamped it and says I gotta take it to the airport tomorrow to go to immigration to get my ZARPE, which is our clearance paper, so it shows that we properly cleared out of French Polynesia and that we'll use at our next port. So I like it when things come together. So now I'm just gonna run our last few errands. As you may have seen in my earlier videos, I am known by my orange backpack. Well, one thing I can really say I like about it is it is completely waterproof. Especially on a day like today, that comes really handy. I got about another half-mile walk just to get to my last errand, to pick up a board cover for Cindy's new paddleboard. Of course, you know, the old one just wasn't good enough. But, you know, kind of fitting for my last day here in paradise. You know, there comes a time when you mistakenly think you couldn't get any wetter. I had a lot of fun with the rain and walking through it and all, but the boat is full. So far, that's 22 scoops. Probably gonna be around 80. I don't want to go. I didn't want to keep going because I don't know if you can see here, but look, we're pretty low in the water. I didn't want my last day in French Polynesia to be I sunk the boat. Well, we are at the airport. It's moving day, or actually checkout day. Problem is, we have some money to exchange. We were hoping to go to the bank and exchange it for New Zealand dollars, because the next few islands we're going to, they take New Zealand dollars. But today happens to be Good Friday, and we didn't realize that Good Friday is a full-on holiday here. So we're going to look at changing here at the airport, but usually they charge you like double, or I should say 20%. We got about $3,000 worth of French Polynesian money. That would be a $600 penalty just because we didn't realize today was a holiday. But after a year being in French Polynesia, which I loved, they are forcing us out. Finished all the paperwork yesterday, so now here we go to immigration to get our passport stamped and get a ZARPE, which is basically saying we in the boat have successfully checked out of this country and we're ready to check into the next country, which depending on the weather, was most likely going to be the Cook Islands. But we'll see. I'll let you know how the official checkout goes. I'm sure they won't let me film in there. Officially checked out of French Polynesia. It was, it was smooth, it just wasn't easier. Maybe it was easy but not smooth. Anyways, we had trouble finding immigration with everything closed up because there's no international flights for another 4 hours. So everything was closed up. We did find security, and security took us to immigration. We got in there, and they acted like they had no clue what needed to be done. But they finally got somebody to they finally got somebody to that knew what they were doing and got us checked out, got our passport stamped, and then got our Zarpe, which is our clearance paperwork that we'll present in the Cook Islands. So that's all done. The next thing is in the Cook Islands, Samoa, Tonga, all these places newly that we're going to be going to, they accept New Zealand dollars. So we got like $2,500 worth of New Zealand dollars that we needed to, or French Polynesian dollars that we needed to convert. Well, the currency exchange here at the airport, since the banks are closed, is 20% penalty. So we only wanted to give them $1,000 and ended up, that's all they take anyways. We're good there. But so I give him all the money. He hands me cash back and then he stops me. Says, no, wait a minute. This $100 bill was counterfeit. So somebody gave us, a change somewhere, or maybe the Bank of the US gave us $100 counterfeit. Again, I've said it many times, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So we're walking around now with $100 of counterfeit money. But the important thing is we're checked out of the country. They want us out of here right away. Like 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'll finish this later once I come so loud.
We're back on Remission, and I went through all of our French Polynesian currency, and it turns out we had $1,700 of counterfeit dollars.
And where do we get this money from? There's 3 places. What are the 3 places we got this money from?
Well, when we had company on board, mostly family, as they were leaving, we exchanged...
Which family?
We exchanged French Polynesian dollars for USD dollars. So we had our daughter Reagan and her boyfriend Kevin.
You mean Jake?
Or Jake, aka Jake. We had my sister Mary and her husband Brant. And we had Brant's sister Natalie and her husband Mike.
So what you're saying is our family passed us counterfeit money?
Somehow when they exchanged USD into French Polynesian money, they received counterfeit dollars unbeknownst to them.
Oh, we were hoping anyways. And then they sold it to us.
And then we bought it, and now we're not sure what we're going to do.
Yeah. So I guess you can't trust anybody these days.
Love you all.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to leave French Polynesia, but the weather gods said no. So we left Tahiti and did become illegal aliens over to Moorea for 5 days, waiting for the weather window. We turned off our AIS so that we could hide in plain sight from the cops. Join us next week as we actually do leave for a 7-day passage to the Cook Islands. And what a passage experience it was.
I recently sold my guitar to a man with no arms. I asked him, how are you going to play it? And he said, I'm going to play it by ear. Yeah, I was only 6 years old when I went to my first funeral. And the priest at the end says, in the name of the Father, name of the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It wasn't until a few years ago that I realized when I blessed myself, I was always saying, in the name of the Father, the Son, and in the Holy Ghost.